Okay, so this is another saber I just did for Al. His daughter, I made some Ahsokas for his daughter recently, who is going as Ahsoka to Celebration here coming up in a couple months. And he sent this to me, asked if it could be converted. When I got it, I didn't know for sure if it could, and I didn't know who made it, but I'm pretty sure he made it using the pommel from one of the Ahsokas that I sent him. So anyway, he sent me this hilt. It's a 7/8 inner diameter tube, and it looks like he did some shroud work here and put it all together. There's a rudimentary button with a spring. It's a pretty heavy spring, but the challenge was to get this, excuse me, get this made. And so I made it a stunt. It's got a Rebel lime green for Ahsoka's short saber, and Pololu switching board, and a 14500 lithium ion rechargeable battery. So just wanted to kind of go over a little bit. I have some blade stock here. It's a really tight fit. So this is also the instructions for Al and his daughter. So this is a really, really tight 7/8 inch blade. So I'm gonna not put a set screw in there. We really don't need it, and I wouldn't dual with this anyway. It's just the nature of how it's put together. It's not really a dual saber. I think it would be something to kind of play with a little bit. And the blade is going to be so tight. If you put it in there tight enough, you're not going to be able to get it out easily anyway. Anyway, the button, this is the activation button. It's got that very nice lime green. Very, very cool. Pretty cool how the camera bleeds out a little bit right there. It's mega bright. But anyway, so I think mainly it's going to hang on her belt. But anyway, here it is, all done. It's very, very tiny. In fact, let me show you how small it is. Here's an EFX Ahsoka full size next to it. So it's quite a small little saber. Which is part of the reason why I had to do a stunt. The Rebel is in here with the heat sink. That takes up about this much space. Then you have this switch assembly that protrudes in, and that takes up some space. So really there's only about that much space left for a battery solution. So here's how you guys are going to get into it. I would recommend it's only the father get into this, and this is something I wouldn't recommend the little girl to get into. But use something not sharp, and you're going to have to pull out there's a little loop on this negative terminal here. Just gently pull the battery board out to where you can get a hold of it. This is how you're going to recharge your battery. Gently pull it out. You don't need to pull real hard. Just work its way out. And then once it's out, you can remove the battery here and put it in your charger. Now it's going to take two hands. These battery holders are quite tight. So, but you definitely want to be very careful with it because of the way the switch is mounted. In fact, the best way to put this back in is going to be, man, these are really tight. Let's see if I can finagle it out of there, because someone's got to do it. Alright, so you're going to use just a little pressure to pull it out of that battery holder. Of course, it's going to hang up on the shrink wrap. So there you go. You'll get that. You'll put your 14500 in your charger that I'm going to send with it. Now let me show you something here. I'm going to go ahead and disassemble it just so you can see. Well, maybe I'm going to lie. Okay, yeah. I'm just going to get this apart. These are the pieces that were sent to me. And you gotta get an idea, oops, too small, of how this went together. And this is going to be the best way to put this back together. Trust me. Just after you charge it, the battery will last quite a while, so you shouldn't have to do this often. But you're going to want to take those out. Then you're going to want to take out your switch assembly here. This is how he made everything and sent it to me. And then you're going to want to gently slide everything through the shroud. And I want you to take it apart completely so you can see exactly how this is put together. Now, if you look inside, you'll see the tactile switch is on a kind of a plank attached to the battery holder. Now, what you're going to do is when you put that in there, you're going to put that directly below the switch plunger. Don't worry, there's room there for the wires. So this is going to, what this is going to do, it's got a little extension on there. So you don't need to crank it down all the way flush. So when it's outside the shroud, what this does is you're going to just want to make sure it's lined up and don't cross thread this. The way this is threaded is it's not precise, but it gets the job done. So however it was made, these threads are not, I don't know if there was an existing threaded part. I don't know the genesis behind this. But anyway, so you'll see here that when this is threaded in, that's all it takes right there. So in fact, where's my little light? Let me show you what's going on inside there. So you'll see there that this plunger just simply pushes down on the button, and that's about it. So that's why I want you to take it apart so you can line everything up nice and easily once you get that battery in there. It doesn't come out all the way. I didn't leave too much slack on there, but you don't want to bend this back and break off that little platform. So once you're done charging your battery, you simply just stick it back in there. Now, make sure it's seated all the way down. It's going to be kind of a tight fit, but it'll fit. Put your shroud back on. No, I guess got to go this way. Put your shroud back on like this. Now what we're going to do is, since we can still see through it, get it right there where it's supposed to be. Push the battery in. Make sure it's lined up there. And if it's crooked, just pull it back out and try and make sure it's nice and flat when you're putting it in, because it is a very tight fit. Line it up nice and flat so when that button pushes down, pushing straight down onto that button right there. You don't have to worry about that wire, that'll get moved out of the way. So now that you have your battery in, you can test the placement of everything. Let's get this put on correctly here. Again, you don't have to feel these threads around. The way it was made, his switch setup, doesn't need to be real hard. Just a simple press down. Whoops, that was off camera. So easy she can do it. So we just want to make sure that's all good and lined up correctly. So simple deal. All right. Now you put your greeblies back on. What I did was these originally, These originally were protruding into the barrel of the tube, and I really needed them to not do that. So what I did was I chucked it up in the lathe and turned them down so they ride flush inside and give us maximum space. Otherwise there was just no way to fit anything there. So you know, test it again, everything's good. Put your pommel back on. Your pommel also, I don't know how you did these threads. It looks like some kind of modeling clay is the threads. So that's why I wouldn't really want to duel with this. But anyway, so there it is. Bit of an unorthodox build, but ended up pretty good for a little stunt. Very small. I mean, my hand swallows it up pretty much. So there it is. Super bright. That lime green is really cool. So there it is. I hope she likes it. So Daddy, you're gonna have to be the one who does the recharging and charging of everything and being very careful, you know, with the handling and of all that. But there's her Ahsoka Tano saber. Pretty cool. Anyway, guys, that's one more stunt. Now, sorry about that, guys. Next ups in builds are the Obi-Wans. Later.